is John Monson, your Real Ruckus radio and podcast host. For today, I've got a special guest with me again, but this one here is very special to me. This will be a topic today that we're going to talk about that's hard, especially as the father of the person we're going to talk to. But today's headline really is how a young rural man from a rural community in Minnesota crushes cancer. Now, we're partway through the process, but I want to share with you his story today because a lot of people wonder what it's like to be diagnosed with cancer. And the type of cancer he has is stage 4 Hodgkin lymphoma, late stage cancer that had spread in the chest and around the area. In fact, I think we saw the scan, it looked like it was all over the place. From a dad's point of view, there's nothing like it. You're taken to your knees, and it'll change your outlook on everything for the positive. And my son Johnny is with us today, and he has been such a positive force in our family's lives, and even more so now. But Johnny, welcome. Glad to have you here today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm just excited to go. I'm an open book, so I'm just ready to talk about this whole journey, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. And it's changed our lives as a family, and it's probably been something that, again, never anticipated. I learned through the process, Johnny, that the diagnosis you have, not that you need to hear this over and over, but is a diagnosis of 1 in 400,000. You're more likely to get hit by lightning than what happened to you. What's interesting to me, Johnny, is you've never said, "Why me?" Not to me, anyways. And you've never wondered or complained out loud about it. And that sort of blows us all away. And those who know you, it sort of blows them away. So first of all, just tell us a little bit about where your head's at related to where you are in this cancer journey.
Yeah. I think someone put it a great way, because I think it's been really nice getting to know other people, especially through this journey, who's also went through cancer. One thing that's kind of surprising to me is hearing how many people know of someone who's going through cancer. Yeah. And it's kind of a scary thing, but also for me, it's kind of comforting, because it helps me know that there's a lot of people who've been getting through it. And there's this one story of someone, and they were just telling me that it's just a bump in the road. It's just a pause through their lives. And I think that's a great way to put it, especially with what I have. I'm going through treatments, it's a pause, but I just think it's only a 6-month journey in my 21 years of life. I don't view it as this is it, this is the end. I view it as this is just a pause. It's a hiccup. It's something hard, but it makes life a lot sweeter. And I think that's just kind of where I'm at with it right now. It's definitely a hard thing, for sure, but it could be way worse. And, we're halfway there. We're now at the point where we're getting closer to the end. So it's just this slow bump in the road, and we're going to start driving through again.
Yeah, you're halfway through your treatments right now. We'll talk a little bit more about what it was like to get that diagnosis in the beginning, how that felt to you. But it's been really amazing to watch your attitude through it all. And I agree. We've learned too, when you get the diagnosis, Johnny, we've learned as a family, we all get the diagnosis with you. We go through this with you. Somebody had mentioned it, a doctor had mentioned it at Mayo. This is where you're getting your treatment, is Mayo Oncology, the best in the world. Yeah. How fortunate are we that we live close. Now we're in Byron, Minnesota. Moved in from Cannon Falls down to Byron, and you're living at home so you can get this treatment done along with your fiance, who's been an amazing level of support for you. And she's given you so much ability to kind of work your way through it positively as well. But Johnny, in the beginning, you got this diagnosis on June 5th of 2025. What was it like when you heard what the doctor had to tell you?
This honestly might be surprising for people. I was kind of relieved, honestly, because beforehand, I was very sick for months. Nobody knew what was going on with me. All I knew is I was getting worse. And everything I was trying, all the medications weren't working, or they would work for a period of time, but everything would come back, where I was at a point where I was honestly fed up not knowing what was going on, where just knowing what it was and that there was a plan actually brought me relief. I will say, when I initially went to the emergency room and I got news that something concerning's happening and it's most likely cancer, that was a different story. I was really scared because at that point, we didn't know anything. All we knew was from a CAT scan that I had a mass close to my heart and to my lungs. That was it. Where at that point, I was anxious. I was honestly freaking out because I didn't know anything else. I didn't know if there's cancer spread further throughout my body. I didn't know if it was in other spots. Like initially when I was in the emergency room, they feared it was a worse cancer. And from what I was given, what my diagnosis was, it was something that was more treatable. And they honestly felt more confident with that diagnosis. And that helped bring me confidence too, where I honestly felt relieved knowing that and knowing that there was finally a true plan to knock this out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So same for the parents, I think, as well. When we heard initially, we had found out on May 28th that you needed to see an oncologist. And honestly, that was the news I think that hit me and your mom the hardest, was that you needed to see an oncologist, that there was likelihood of some form of cancer. In the same boat you were in, like, what is this? We knew before you knew. We actually went to pick you up from school and took you home, and you didn't even know what was going on. You thought we were coming to pick you up to lunch.
I was so excited.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, so we took it to the emergency room instead. So it was a rough ride in the beginning for sure, but we had great care, and they were reassuring, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they really were. So it was crazy. But what was interesting is you got a diagnosis of stage 4, a late stage, which was interesting because you were sick maybe 3 months, something like that. Yeah. But you had dropped substantial weight too, hadn't you? How much had you lost?
At that point, I think I lost around 25 to 30 pounds.
Pretty fast too.
It was pretty quick. I will say I kind of assisted because I was like, I'm going to start watching my calories. The weight loss was a little more than anticipated. I wanted to lose 5 pounds, not 30 in a span of like 40 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, during that time while I was sick, I was like, you know what? I want to get healthier. I'm going to watch my calories and what I eat. And little did I know I was just feeding into it. So yeah, it was wild.
It was wild. It was wild. When we saw you the next time, it was a little mind blowing to see how thin you had become. So we knew something was wrong. So anyways, Johnny, you have stage 4 Hodgkin lymphoma, but so what is the curability rate that's expected in a stage 4, a late stage cancer like that, where you have a mass in your chest and some spread along, in your chest wall?
Yeah, the lymphoma team or the hematology team, they told me that for people who have stage 3 to stage 4, the treatable rate or the curability rate was about 94%. So it was really high. And especially they created a new standard for treatments that was started up last October. I don't even know if it's been a whole year yet, honestly.
A new immune therapy, right?
Yeah.
They took a certain thing that made you really sick away and tried something new. And you've definitely, on days of treatment, I've seen you come home pretty sick, and it's getting more cumulatively more sick if you are and tired and all that stuff. But interestingly enough, Johnny, you had one thick head of hair. And you still, but you have thinned out a lot, surprisingly. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but you still have your hair, which surprises me. I mean, I can see in the facial hair, it's beginning to, it's definitely fading a little bit.
It's definitely thinning.
But, and you got to get ready for a wedding as well, hoping to keep that crop of hair going. Right? Yeah. So, but anyways, how's that feeling so far?
Surprisingly pretty good. I saw one of my friend's mothers, they work at Mayo, and I saw him yesterday for the first time since they visited me for the first round of chemo, and I haven't really seen them too much since the beginning. So when I saw her, the first thing she said was, you still have your hair. Like, this is wild, because all the doctors, everybody told me, like, be ready to lose your hair. It's going to happen. Like, all of them said, I'm going to bet my money on it. And I have it. So, that's a blessing in disguise, because usually the doctors told me that around the second cycle, so around 3rd or 4th treatment, that's when people start losing their hair or losing chunks of it, and they have to shave it. I haven't really had that yet. I don't know if I will. I don't, because it's been way past that time where maybe I'm just going to consistently thin out, and I lose hair but not chunks. Maybe I'll just get some on my hand here and there. So it's been interesting, and it's also been really intriguing for the doctors to see as well, which has been cool.
Yeah, I'm so thankful for that. And so when I talk to people and I say, you may lose his hair, whatever, people go, well, it'll be fine. It'll all grow back. I understand that sentiment, but this has been my thought all along. It's one thing to feel something when you go through chemo, and we've seen you go through that nauseousness and what it takes, especially in the beginning. But to go in the mirror and look and see that you've lost all your hair, to see the sickness or the treatments taking over would be harder.
It's a lot harder.
And when you're at 21 years old and you're about to get married, that's not something that's easy to do. And you've lost a lot of hair. I can see that, Johnny. It's thinned out a lot, but you still have it. And I'm thankful for that. I know that you are too. But it's not something that it's just as easy as, it'll just grow back. It's hard on you to see what's happening to you and also feel it. So seeing it and feeling it are two different things as well. But having that hair really is helpful actually as well. I can see that in you every day. You've gained back a lot of weight, Johnny. Have you gained it all back?
and more. That and more. I've gained it all back. One thing I want to do is gain it all back in muscle. Because, I getting skinnier. I was skin and bone where I was like, if I pump the iron, it's going to really show.
Yeah.
All I've done is just round out in the belly, I feel like. So so I've gained it all right in my gut. So
well, the good news is I've read a lot about that too, and it's a lot of water retention through process, and just does happen, so on.
Yeah.
And that'll be all right. But Johnny, so a young man from a rural community. You grew up in Cannon Falls.
Yep.
Right? Pretty typical. You were a sports kid and all that. Talk about a little bit what rural life was like for you growing up in Cannon Falls.
Rural life for me, I mean, the biggest thing for me in Cannon Falls was, going to, you could say, a smaller public school. You knew everybody, but the biggest thing was I was a big sports guy. Played football, I was a golfer in 6th grade.
Yeah.
I played soccer for a little bit, baseball, basketball. I played pretty much all the things I could try. And one thing that I really enjoyed was being a part of a smaller school where I got to build up with all the kids pretty much throughout sports. So it was really cool to be able to do that. I think that was the main thing, was just like a lot of my life revolved around playing sports, building up the guys, creating different relationships to the point where I still have them to this day,
Yeah. But here was an interesting thing to me, Johnny, in a rural town. And I think this has defined a lot of kids in rural towns. You also grew up like in FCA.
Yeah, I did.
Church and youth group and all these things. That's an important element of your upbringing, I think, because it's really played into how you've addressed cancer.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you have leveraged what you learned through the faith and upbringing and how that's played into cancer as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think the biggest thing through this journey, well, one thing was before being sick and everything, I did a self-reflection of, I felt like there wasn't too many trials that I've went through, especially just through my earlier on days. I felt like in school, played sports a lot, got injured, really minor things like that, but I never really felt like I went through a hard challenge. And, I had a men's group, and I told people that while I was sick, which is kind of an interesting thing. But when
You didn't know you had cancer when you told them
I
that.
didn't.
Yeah.
And when I learned about my diagnosis and everything, luckily, like you're saying, being part of FCA, a lot of people from Cannon Falls knew kind of who I was as a person and all these things, where I feel like on social media, being able to share the hard news, but also hopefully share a word of hope. I was really surprised how many people from Cannon Falls, especially people that, I was classmates with, people I taught and helped out, especially in like FCA, heard that and also messaged me back, where it was interesting that a lot of people that I haven't seen for years were touched by this, and I'm just grateful that I'm able to still be connected through social media and through a platform. I still plan on continuing my journey through that, but it's been really cool to see, and it makes me grateful that I'm able to spread words and that it's able to reach to people from Cannon Falls and other people, that I haven't seen for years. It's been really fruitful to see.
Yeah, I've known you obviously your entire life, Johnny, and it's been a cornerstone of who you are. Mm-hmm. Your faith has really helped give you clarity of purpose through all of this, and to help other people feel that hope. Mm-hmm. So a couple of things we've noticed. Number one, we're at Mayo. Yeah. The best in the world. And we're so thankful that we're here. And we live in Byron now, and you've been able to live with us. How amazing is it that you've been able to live right there with such great access to Mayo nearby? And live with your parents. I mean, that's got to be fantastic at age 21, huh? I know you love it. Give me a break. So anyways, don't say anything. Don't say anything about that.
It's been a really big blessing. I think it's a bigger blessing than I can realize sometimes, especially being so close. A lot of people have to travel very far, with Mayo. A lot of people seek out to go there from out of country, out of state, and I'm only 10 minutes away. Yeah. It's only a drive away. And one thing is like scheduling, they don't plan on your sleep. So there's a lot of really early appointments, and it's just a blessing to be able to just be 10 minutes away, just wake up in the morning, still eat breakfast, get ready, and just drive out. I think that's been a big thing, especially with different treatments. I don't know if this is for sure correct, but like being able to be close, I was able to do 2 separate appointments where I get to do my checkup appointments one day and then the next day doing chemo, where originally they were telling me that it's all in one, and it has been now since this first half. But I also think just being close by is kind of giving us some area to work with to be able to schedule appointments and to be able to go. And just in general, Mayo is one of the best, and to just be located around there and to be able to get treated there by the best. Like I get to see bi-weekly some of the best lymphoma specialists, and they're super great. They're super caring. The people who are doing chemo, all the nurses, it's really interesting how it works for them. Like they're all a team where there's a bunch of nurses rotating, giving me treatment, but they're all on the same page and they all work together. So it's just, it's a crazy thing to see and witness, and to be able to have them help me out.
So they've done great care. Your faith has carried you a long ways. It's been able to be shared as a purpose in your life. And having purpose really does matter, right? I mean, it helps define every day. It gives you clarity of what you need to do. It's become probably clearer to you now than it ever has before, but what you want to be able to accomplish through all of this in that regard. But you want to give people hope. And the one thing you can do is you're now able to, because of what you're going through, be able to give back to those who are hurting or in need as they might go through this or something else about how to address it. And you've addressed it all so positively and so on. But what is a day of chemo like for you? And people might be looking here at this and saying, man, he looks good. I mean, he looks so normal. You wouldn't have no idea that he has cancer. But you go through quite a bit. What is a day of chemo like, and how do you feel when you come out of that?
Yeah, so chemo days, so treatment days, it's about 5 hours of IV. So it's through an IV, because originally when I heard about chemo, I was like, what does that even look like? And there's different types of chemo. There's IV, there's radiation. I personally get it through the IV, and beforehand, before you get chemo, you have to do blood work. So you draw blood before you go, so then you can get your blood results.
What are they looking for there?
I'm pretty sure it's the white blood counts. One of the main ones that I pay attention to is the neutrophils, which I think is also white blood cells. But the neutrophils, it kind of shows what your immune system's looking like, to show if you're weaker or if you're doing pretty good. I'm pretty sure the normal range is from like 7 to 1.5.
I think that's right.
And with people who are going through chemo, they usually let it drop down to 5.4. They even told me at one point they actually would let your neutrophils drop to even 0.1.
Wow.
Really
so you're very susceptible to getting sick.
So what this means is like my immune system can get pretty low, and I'm more susceptible to infections, getting sick, fevers, stuff like that. So they want to just keep track and see how that's doing. Luckily for me, for someone who's going through treatments, it's been pretty good.
Pretty tough treatments, yeah.
Yeah. So I just have to be careful being around people, but that's one of the main things that they kind of look at, because it also shows like are you good to go for your next treatment, and also if you're going to need a shot, immune system boost shot. So that's what they kind of do, is initially get the blood work, check how everything's going, make sure you're doing good enough to get your treatment, and then that's also what doctor consultation. And then once they tell you you're good to go, then either right afterwards or the next day you get treatment. So when it comes to chemo, they have their main floor. They have their main floor, and they call your name, and they, get your weight for calculating different drugs to see, like, because they want to make sure they're giving you not enough or like too much. They want to make sure it's good with your weight. And then they'll bring you to this kind of personalized room. It's either with a reclining chair or with a bed. And there's usually 2 little visiting seats, and there's a TV. So it's a small little nice room that you get to sit in. And then pretty much they actually put a heating wrap around your arm to get your veins popping, and then they'll put in an IV, and then they'll give you anti-nausea medications, they'll give you steroids, and then they'll start up chemo. My drugs, the chemo treatments I take around 3.5 to 4 hours. I'm not too sure what other treatments look like. I don't know how long they are. I don't know if it's longer or shorter, but that's kind of what mine looks like. And then you just kind of sit there. There's some stack bar where you can walk. It's portable too. Oh. So you're able to walk around. You're not just sitting there. You can move around. So that's kind of, the day. It's long. It's not too eventful, but that's kind of what it looks like.
And your fiance goes with you. Yeah. You play games and do all that stuff. Do wedding planning even, I saw last time. So that was pretty interesting as well.
We've done a little bit of wedding planning.
But you get a little nauseous after this whole thing is done, don't you? And a little tired.
Yeah, it can, especially by the end of it, it can be really hard on the body. One thing I remember, especially in the beginning when I was getting treatments, I started to freak out because like the bags that they come in, it's like the radioactive hazardous bags. So they come in and it's like I see like the toxic symbols. I'm like, all right, well, it's go time now. Let's do this. And it does take a toll. What the doctors say, it takes a beating on the body. It does.
The good cells and the bad cells.
Yep. It's really effective on what it does, and it really can also get to the other good parts of your body.
So you had 4 of these treatments, chemo treatments, and then you got a full body scan called a PET scan. After that, what did that PET scan show you now in early August?
Yeah. So with the first PET scan, it showed that I had a mass in my chest, and it spread throughout my chest and in my lymph nodes.
Initially.
The second PET scan I got, it was pretty much all clear.
After 4 chemo treatments.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yep.
It was
amazing.
After 2 months.
Yeah, and that was incredible to see that. We didn't realize, we looked back at that first PET scan, how much cancer there was.
Yeah, I was shocked.
It was surprising. I was shocked too to see that when you showed it to us, and then to be cancer free. How'd that feel?
I was relieved. I was really relieved. I was very happy. And it's still hard because one thing you got to do is you continue through your treatments.
Why?
They just want to make sure it's completely gone. You don't want to chance it. So
at the molecular level, it can't really detect whether you have cancer cells. Mm-hmm. So it has to continue the treatment. So they remain with the same level of intensity through the entire 12 chemo treatments, right?
Yeah, it's the same.
And you've done 6 of these now. 7th coming up now. So it's tough still because it's still, we don't know if you have any cancer. We don't know if you have any in the bone marrow. We don't know if there's any molecular level cancer or anything like that. It's expensive treatment too, isn't it?
Yeah. It's checking out the medical bills. It's not too fun. It's not too fun to see, but we are very blessed to have it covered.
Right. You got some insurance to be able to qualify in that regard and so on. And the Mayo surprisingly stepped in the beginning too with an amazing 100% coverage of all of your chemo treatments and all of the work and all of your stay, which was mind-blowing. It's a new program that they've instituted, which shocked us. I mean, really brought us to tears to see what they were willing to be able to do. And so far, so good, but there'll be a day when you're going to have to get a job, and then cancer will become a part of the future determination of what your health insurance is and all that good stuff. So anyways, it's a long road, and you have to continue through remission and so on. But here's the one thing I think that I would love our viewers to hear more about. You have not stopped living life.
Yeah.
You continue to go.
I try. Right? I try my best.
And I think that you have really done a great job of making sure that the way I have put it is Johnny's not on a cancer journey. Cancer's on a Johnny journey. In other words, you have not quit doing what you like to do. So talk a little bit about how do you live life through chemo?
You know, one thing the doctors say is they want you to live as normal of a life as you possibly can.
Right.
You know, they don't want you to label yourself as someone that you have cancer. You want to be able to live your life, and like I was saying, it's just a bump in the road. It's a pause. So I try to get out as much as I can. You know, going to Duluth is really fun. I've been able to go see like my fiance's family, being a part of like their young adults group. I became a door dasher. So, you know, if you're in the Rochester area, you might see me at your doorstep delivering food. So I'm out and about.
Good for you. You're working out too.
Yeah, I try my best to work out, even though I'm starting to gain a little bit of a belly. I'm trying to.
You have no belly. I'm compared to your papa.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I've been doing my best to go out. I mean, I've golfed a little bit. I went to Top Golf the other day for a bachelor's party. You know, I'm just trying to still enjoy life and still have fun.
As you should. As you should. Well, the one thing I just wanted to say is that, Johnny, I'm so thankful that you've been here with me today to be able to tell this story. This is an important story to tell. There's a lot of hope. Stage 4 Hodgkin lymphoma is not a death sentence by any means whatsoever. In fact, it's quite curable. And if taken with the right mindset, it can be a game changer in terms of how you view life. I have viewed the blessings of life in an entirely different way. I see new blessings I never knew were there before. I just didn't see them.
Yeah.
And now they're there. So I am so thankful that they are there and that we now see them, and it's a different mindset. So the impact that you've had on our family, and I think a lot of your friends, may be even greater than the impact of what you're going through too. It's really changed the lives and I think our outlook in so many different ways. I'm so thankful for all of that. Anyways, you do have an Instagram account as well, right? What is that?
So I have my personal, which is Johnny Monson. Then I also enjoy making music. So I have my music account, and it's called Hey It's Mellow. So
where do you provide your cancer updates?
Yeah, my music account for Hey It's Mellow. I just kind of share about the journey. I've made a few videos.
Is it 2 Y's, Hey It's Mellow?
Yes.
Yeah, 2 Y's. Okay. Hey It's Mellow, all one word with 2 Y's. That's what I've learned. Anyways, if you want to follow Johnny.
Make it tricky.
And he will go on Facebook as well, and he'll provide updates there too. So, and I know that I put something out on LinkedIn as well, and it has been followed tremendously. It's been surprising to me how many people have viewed your story, and I think it's great. But anyways, this is John Monson with Rural Ruckus Radio and Podcast signing out. And again, if you have any questions or concerns about cancer and what that process is like, you can certainly send them to John Monson, Rural Ruckus Radio, and be happy to respond more to that as well. So anyways, have a great day.